Hello from MALLAIG, and this time we are on a ferry. It's myself and
Still me.
still Stephen, and we are sailing on MV LOCHNEVIS to the island of Eigg. Been to Eigg before?
No, I've never been to Eigg before.
But you do like an egg.
Benedict.
Egg Benedict. Oh yeah. Anyway, we're off to Eigg, so let's get on board and we'll see how it goes.
Great to see there's actually a Calmac ferry.
There is definitely a ferry. If it's going is another question. And that's because the previous day I'd received a message from Calmac saying the sailing was under review due to technical issues with the ferry. But we went to MALLAIG anyway, and happily our vessel was waiting for us. We're due to depart at 10:30 and arrive in Eigg at 11:50. There's a really pleasant waiting room at MALLAIG with everything that you could need, along with a nice colouring book for the kids. And after a quick ticket check, we're led down to board via the stern ramp, and it's time to explore MV LOCHNEVIS. Deck 3 on the vessel has this long corridor which takes you past some toilets and into the coffee cabin. And in addition to the coffee cabin, there's a very spacious and comfortable lounge and a really pleasant painting of our vessel for today, MV LOCHNEVIS. And going back outside and up to the promenade deck, we get a good overview of MALLAIG Harbour. There's a lot of work going on at MALLAIG. There's the construction of a new dedicated overnight ferry berth. This is designed to improve the resilience and reliability of the ferry services from MALLAIG. And the promenade deck has plenty of outdoor seating. This is where most people tended to stay on the journey because it was just such a fantastic day. And a nice little touch on LOCHNEVIS is this area where you can stand and get views over the bow. And going back inside from the promenade deck, or deck 4, there are more toilets, and this is the observation lounge with these comfy, diagonally arranged seats. Although no one is in here today, everyone's staying outside. At 10:30 we depart the berth and make our way to the Isle of Eigg. And if you haven't yet done so, why not consider subscribing to the channel? It really does help me to keep the channel moving forward. Marking the entrance to MALLAIG Harbour is the fisherman and child statue. It depicts a fisherman pointing out towards the water. It stands at around 8 feet tall and is painted bright white. The sculpture was gifted to the town of MALLAIG by the sculptor Mark Rogers to represent the town's great maritime heritage. Something that's immediately noticeable about LOCHNEVIS is the length of her vehicle ramp. This allows her to berth a good distance away from a slipway, which protects her azipod propellers from grounding. Hopefully you'll get an idea of that when we arrive at Eigg. She can carry 190 passengers and has space for 14 cars. Time to go back inside and grab a coffee from the coffee cabin, and as seems to be universal with Calmac sailings, crew were incredibly friendly, and the gentleman who served us at the coffee cabin was no exception. He was happy to blether away about all things Calmac. Now it's time for me and Stephen to have a pretty random conversation of our own. So Steve, we are in the lounge, and we've got a coffee and a cappuccino in an actual mug, not a disposable cup.
Yeah.
No, so
it's keeping predators at bay.
Keeping predators at bay, which is always a good thing. And we asked about Calmac car stickers.
Did.
And they don't do them anymore.
Not available. So let's start making them ourselves.
Yeah. What I would say is Western Ferry still do car stickers. So come on, Calmac.
I think it's maybe people aren't interested anymore, but
in cars
back in the day, no stickers.
Yeah, you always wanted a car sticker.
Yeah.
And I used to say, was it Clyde and Hebridean ferries or something like that?
Something like that.
Anyway.
Yeah, maybe it's just a romantic looking back at olden days.
Well,
because we're all getting older.
And you are a great romantic. After that enlightening conversation, what else is there to say about today's vessel? Well, MV LOCHNEVIS was built in the year 2000 by Ailsa Shipbuilding in Troon and entered service in 2001. The previous vessel on the Small Isle service was MV Lochmore. She served the Small Isles from 1979 until 2001. Since 2015, she's been operating whale watching tours from Reykjavik in Iceland, where she's now known as MV Sailor. LOCHNEVIS can complete a round trip of the 4 islands making up the Small Isles in 7 hours, compared with 10 hours by her predecessor, the Lochmore. And I think now it's time just to enjoy the view. Eigg is 5 miles long by 3 miles wide and is owned by the Isle of Eigg Heritage Trust, who've managed it on behalf of the community since a buyout in 1997. You might be wondering if you can bring a car, a camper van or a motorbike to Eigg, and the answer is no, it is island residence vehicles only, unless you're registered disabled, in which case you can bring a vehicle. You can, however, hire a bike from Eigg Adventures. One of the main features on the island is An Sgurr, which rises to an elevation of 393 metres or 1,289 feet. I will not be climbing that this time, or perhaps any other time, but there is an excellent Steve March video where he does. And as we berth at Eigg, it's just a chance to see that vehicle ramp being deployed with the essential supplies for the island being delivered. So before Stephen and I have a little chat about our journey today, I'll just say that this return service costs £10.90 for a foot passenger. Do check the Calmac timetable, because it's not always possible to do these journeys on a round trip on one day, and you maybe don't want to be stranded overnight without any accommodation. Thank you so much for watching. Maybe you'd hit that like button, leave a comment, hype, or even subscribe to the channel. As I say, I'll leave you with me and Stephen. So we had a little bit of drama getting off the boat, in that there was drama. I got off the boat. Stephen decided to stay on board.
I didn't decide to stay on board, I just didn't hear anyone say that passengers can get off now.
Well, it's just as well you did, because otherwise you would have been swimming off the boat if you didn't get off when you did.
And I can't swim, so...
What a tragic end to a video that would have been.
The tide's coming in.
So we're on the Isle of Eigg, and I've got to say, I think that is one of the most beautiful ferry journeys that I have taken. I think once again we have lucked out on the weather. We always seem to get pretty decent weather, don't we, when we do a ferry journey?
Well, two in a row.
2 in a row. I mean, we've done 2, and absolutely stunning. And all this for £5.45 one way, so £10.90 return. I mean, that's. I think that's. Do you think that's good value?
No, that's
pound for pound,
well,
mile for mile.
The whole trip has been for a day out. What would the total cost? £2 in the bus. Well, 40 quid, say, roughly, to get Eigg.
from Inverness to Eigg. We've cracked it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching, and we're going to go over to a little cafe over there, and because it's so hot we might get.
Sam's going to go shirtless.
I'm not going tap saff, but I may go and get something that's served on tap. So we'll do that. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
We shall see.
Bye.